Hey everybody, welcome to the Dating is Hard podcast. I'm your host, Joe Welkie. For everything you need to know about this show, you can head on over to datingishardcomedy.com. Find me on Instagram at Joe Welkie, and you can follow the show on Instagram at datingishardcomedy. That's where I post all of the updates about this bad boy. If you could please subscribe, like, rate, and review. The last time I saw, I think we're at 90, so it went up. It went up at least one. We're trying to get to 100 5-star reviews, so please, if you can make the time to do that, that'd be awesome. It takes a couple seconds. Just click that 5-star stuff. If you don't know, this show is all about dating and relationships and sex and all that stuff. And today I got an excellent guest. I'm super stoked to have her on, and I hope you guys enjoy my chat with Eden Barbarella. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Dating is Hard podcast. I'm your host, Joe Welkie, and if you're not familiar with the show, what I do is I meet people from dating apps and I have them come on to the show and talk about their dating experiences, and that is how I met my guest today. She comes to us through Bumble. Everyone, welcome to the show, Eden Barbarella.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Eden. How are you doing today?
I bet your listeners weren't expecting that voice. I'm doing fabulously. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Eden is the host of her own podcast that explores kind of dating and sex and relationships called DIRTYTALK.
Correct.
You want to talk about that for a little bit?
Yes, I'm a co-host.
Sorry about that.
Yes.
No disrespect to the...
My lovely teammate Mikey and I, we have a podcast called DIRTYTALK, which all of you guys need to go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and listen and stream. But we're just wanting to redefine sex positivity in the millennial and Gen Z community. I think a lot of us grew up with parents that didn't necessarily teach us all the tips, tricks, and hacks that we could use to navigate dating life and sex exploration. And we had to learn the hard way, about a lot of things. So now that we've learned all of those things, why not get on the mic and educate, people that are new to sex exploration or relationships or anything like that. I want to be the role model that I didn't have when I was growing up. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great, dude. Yeah. That's so fucking cool. Oh, I love that. Yeah, because my parents didn't teach me shit.
Yeah. My parents were very religious, so it was don't talk about it, and yeah.
My parents were kind of the same. I remember my sex talk was my parents gave my sister the sex talk, and they told her.
Tell you?
Yeah, they were like, hey, now it's your turn to tell him, whenever he's ready.
They had to do your dirty work.
I know.
Or hers.
Yeah, she had to do their dirty
work. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't even remember getting it from my sister. I never got the sex talk from
Well, what did she say?
My sister never gave me a sex talk.
So how did you find out?
I just went out fucking doing my own shit.
Oh, I'm sure. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Joe doesn't tell his secrets, y'all. So.
Yeah, I had to go out and make all the stupid mistakes myself.
Okay, that's true. But then it morphed you into who you are today. So.
Exactly. People that are like, hey, my mistakes make me who I am.
Hey, I'm one of those cheesy people. None of us are perfect. We all have had growing pains of evolving. For those of you who are listening, I am a drag queen. So my journey is a lot different than some. But for the first time, I'm actually 100% free and happy being me and doing what I do. And yeah, it's been great. So
hell yeah. I feel like once you get that acceptance of this is who the fuck I am.
Yeah.
Then it's oh, I don't need to worry about
Well, that was the thing. I think I was seeking acceptance from people, and then it was one day it dawned on me that I didn't need their acceptance. Yeah. I wasn't put on this planet for that. I have a purpose, which is to inspire people to live their truest selves, and so it's I don't, if someone's judging you or whatever, that means that they have a personal issue going on with themselves, and then that's why they're projecting on you. And it was thanks to COVID, thanks to being shut away from everyone, because you don't have time to think about those things when you're in the motion and you're in the routine of the 40-hour work week and going to this place and that place. You don't have time to sit in solitude and be why is this way? Why is this way? Or why is this that way?
Yeah.
But I had that time. And so Yeah.
See, I've been dreading the COVID. You're like on a journey of self-discovery.
No, well, I'm an Aquarius too, so we are totally into this whole like let's be aloof and live in our fairy tale world. I love Alice in Wonderland. Down the rabbit's hole we go. That's what I do. I turn on some Janae Eiko and I read like conspiracy theories and I'm reading like the Bible. I'm reading like all this random stuff because it's like why not? Why not? I've already watched every Netflix show and Hulu show and all that. You know, I'm not going to rewatch The Real Housewives again. So,
been there, fucking done that.
Yeah, and like 10 times. So it's not just been there, fucking done that. We already did her. Like, we mastered her, okay? Yeah, I know all the lines.
I've just been sitting in fucking quarantine just like, oh my God, my thoughts. It's terrible.
No, I love it because I'm such an imaginative person. Like, ever since I've been a little kid, I've always been thinking of just little concepts and like wanting to be a pop star and movie star and also a humanitarian and then a chef and just everything, you know. And then when you get into the school system and your parents also enter into a world where you have to live in a status quo in a certain way, a lot of that imagination just gets stripped away from you, and it's like that's not fair to us.
Yeah.
Why can't? Because I could have been that first person that went to the university and then was a chef and a superstar and did all of those
pop
things.
Star,
yeah,
chef,
if I wasn't
dancer.
limited, you know, if I wasn't told no, you have to stick to one thing. But luckily, I'm still young enough to do that now.
Hell
so
yeah.
I will have a podcast and still be a choreographer and also have music come out and you know do whatever I do because we can. Anyone can do it. You can do whatever you want. Don't let anyone tell you can't.
Yeah, I feel like this, like the quarantine and COVID and everything has people like reimagining what they're capable of and what they're able to do. Because like, you know, I do comedy and like I was talking with you before, like I can't do that shit right now. Like that comedy is like the way that I knew it is done.
Right.
So it's like
y'all used to have us crammed in those comedy clubs.
I know, man.
Y'all never been to a comedy show? They will stick you next to a person you never met, and you are sitting like next. Yeah. There's no divide. Yeah. So we can't do that with this whole 6 feet apart. I guess you could, but no one would be there. It'd be like 5 people at the show.
Yeah, I did a show a little while, like a couple weeks ago, and it was outdoors, and everybody was sitting far away, and it just
Dave Chappelle.
It was not good.
Did you see him?
Oh yeah, 846.
Yeah,
it was so fucking good. Oh. Wasn't the funniest.
Everyone says that, but I was laughing maybe because I could relate to some of the topics. But I was like, oof. But I also love to people watch, and I love to see like people's observations when he would say stuff like, you know, because he's saying that all the stuff that everyone knows, but is so afraid to say or speak up about.
Yeah.
You know, certain people can just go and do it. And I love it. I love seeing people's reactions because everyone likes to pretend. A lot of these people like to pretend that this is their first time encountering a lot of these things. Not saying everybody, y'all, but there are some people that like to pretend.
Yeah.
It's like, you know why certain things are the way they are. So in order for it to change, just admit that, you know, because everybody's going to therapy, everybody's going to counseling, everyone's doing all those things. So it's not like the 1970s where it's like if you thought about going to therapy, that was like unheard of. You know, my parents, I don't think they did that when they thought about that when they were teenagers or whatever. It was like you suck it up and you fix it. You have nothing to complain about. You have a roof over your head. You have food. You know, you have fresh clothes the first week of school. But, you know, what about the mental? You know, what are you laughing about?
Well, I just was thinking, like, back in the day, if you were like, I'm thinking about going to therapy, or like, you have to go to therapy, it was like, it's because you were like an insane person.
Yes.
But now it's like, yo,
we all insane.
Everybody's going.
So you ain't special, so you can go. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. You need to go. All of us need to get this healing done.
Yeah.
You know, like I went through a lot of things. Like when I was a teenager, obviously, I didn't say this, but my parents are super Christian, but my dad is actually in the Christian music industry. So growing up with a queer child, that's like in any religious household, that's just not a thing. Yeah. But if that's your profession as well, it's like, ugh. And I always felt that as a burden, that I couldn't ever live my life the way I wanted to because I knew that he had dreams for himself. And so once I realized that they didn't like certain things, not to say that I wasn't a little baddie. I did have some times where I was a baddie that we'll probably talk about in your questions that you're going to ask me. but you know, we just lived in that society. We lived in a way where you just had to play a role.
Yeah.
We were all actors. It's so funny that we used to run home at night and watch Making the Band or these other shows and watch these people on TV, when in reality we do the same thing every single day. You put on a fake smile when you walk into your office and you're sitting there with coworkers that you know you don't like, but you have to just get by. You know, all of us do it every single day. You know, there's nothing different between you, me, and Johnny Depp,
and Jacob from O-Town.
Yeah. A hottie. All the guys from O-Town are hot. I grew up in a great era because I feel like even if you were ugly, you were hot. Because if you were ugly, then you could put on like eyeliner and be a part of like Green Day. Yeah. Not saying that any of the guys in Green Day were ugly, because I thought they were hot. Yeah. But, you know, like there were ways that you could get by with still being cool. And it was, you know, I don't know.
It was like the swag. It was a confidence. Yeah. Like sexiness isn't like a looks thing. It's like a swag thing.
Yeah, confidence. You know who you are. You
know?
It's
just like, whatever. I'm fucking ugly, but you still fucking, you're going to rock out to these songs and people are like, oh my God, this guy's great.
Well, there was a time I thought I was a sapiosexual because I do, like so right now I love cis men and then female to male transgender men. Those are the men that I date. But there are a couple of female, like cis women that are just so beautiful that I wouldn't mind like just crossing on over there and playing around and exploring, because it's just like there's just something so alluring, or it's like about their spirit, about how they sing, about just, you know, how they even tell a story. Like for instance, Janae Aiko, she implements a lot of yoga healing into her latest music and the ohms and all that stuff, and I'm like, she's constructing a masterpiece. She's not just going into a studio and someone's throwing her a track and being like, sing this song and make us $5 million. Yeah. That is so hot to me. That turns me on. So, hey, Janae Aiko, I love you, girl.
Shout out, Janae.
You too. Lauren Jareggi from Fifth Harmony. Girl, Zendaya. Woo. Come here, girl. Yes. Normani. Yep, you too.
You're just going to list a bunch
all
of
them. All of them. I want Tori Kelly. Come here.
Okay, so we got connected through Bumble.
We did.
How's Bumble treating you? You liking it?
Whew. I have to be careful. Bumble actually gave me a brand deal back in October because I used their friend portion.
Oh, BFF.
BFF, and I did a video on YouTube about going on a date with BBF, or that side of the app. Mm-hmm. So I never met this guy ever, and we went and just hung out as friends, and that was the intention. And it was so pleasant. His name was Evan. He was so great. And that side of it is amazing. But I know the people's intentions that are on Bumble in the city of Los Angeles are not just to go to get sushi and kiki and then go back home. Yeah. They want something out of it, and especially someone like me who often is fetishized. I have to be careful who I interact with, because it's always, first of all, in my profile, it literally states that I'm a drag queen. It says the options of like gender fluid or non-binary or trans, and all that stuff is established. It says it for me. So if people could just honestly, firstly read, they could see. Dude. But there are some people that like to pretend like they don't read the stuff, and then they're like, oh, we should have told me or whatever. And I'm like, well, I'm following what I said. And for anyone that's trans or drag, like, our first sentence shouldn't be to anyone, hey, guess what? It should be, hello, how are you? Yeah. I don't owe you anything. I don't go to you and say, hey, do you have a dick? You know, I might assume that you do because you present in a way that I would assume someone that looks like you commonly would, but that's none of my business. Yeah. What is my business is how are you today? So let's rewind a little bit. But those are the type of people that I deal with, or the people that just really love it. And it's a lot of older men, honestly, who probably, you know, have felt urges to be, you know, with certain types of people since they were kids in the 60s and 70s, and they could never act upon that because they lived in that status quo that I was telling you about earlier. So now they can. Yeah. And it's almost like desperate. And you know, they will try to give you the works. I'll take you to whatever restaurant. I'll do this. I'll do that, or whatever. Which sometimes is very flattering, but on the other hand, I feel like they do want some type of. They're very traditional and they want ownership. They want to like own me and be like, oh, you have to stay here the whole weekend and blah blah blah. And anybody that knows me knows that I am INDEPENDENT. Do you know what that means? Okay. You don't tell me when and where I can go, or what I can and cannot eat and stuff like that. I have people trying to like order appetizers and stuff. No, if I want calamari, I'm gonna order my calamari.
Yeah,
you know. So that's taken a little bit of adjusting too, but overall, it's taught me a lot about myself, and honestly, going on dates and stuff, and just being with other fearless people, because it's pretty fearless to go on a date with someone like me. I'm a rock star, but I'm like a unicorn, you know. So to be out in public, you know, and be seen with me, there are going to be people staring. A, because I'm hot, but B, you know, they might stare.
Yeah.
Oh well, you know, I'm rocking with someone that's there with me. For me, and that's even if it never like always ends the best with that person, I always respect them for wanting to take that time out of their day to try something new, you know, because I know at least they said, hey, I did try once, or I can still be friends with this person. I'm still friends with like the majority of the people that I've gone on like little coffee dates with and stuff like that on Instagram and stuff. So it's been a pretty overall cool process.
So are you saying, so you prefer Bumble BFF to like the Bumble dating situation? Well,
I tried Bumble BFF to meet girls because I noticed that I don't have that many girl friends anymore. So I want friends in general, but I do feel like a lot of guys I notice would go to the BFF column to still try to hit on girls. Well, so it's like I can't even escape some of the BS that I was getting from like the normal dating one, because with dating it's like, what is dating in 2020? What is that? Especially with COVID or whatever, it's like, what is that? It's literally, do I trust you enough so we can make out and fuck? Because it's not like you're going to sit there 6 feet apart eating Chipotle. Or on Zoom. How was your day eating Chipotle?
Dude, there are people that are doing that, though. Like, just strictly Zoom dating. And it's like...
I saw the apps updates. Like, they have it on Hinge and all that. They have those options to do. And I've done a couple. I did a couple over COVID. But I just feel like that's like...
How long can you really do that for?
Yeah, you know, that's not... There are other... forms of measurement to see if you're compatible with someone. So I think you just... Well, it is what it is.
I tried to use Bumble BFF for this podcast, and I got like nobody was interested in doing this. Like because
what kind of people did you get?
I don't even really remember. I was trying to get more guys on it, because like this podcast, like a lot of times, like I was telling you before, it's like a lot of women, and I want it to be like, I want to cover all spectrums of life, like everybody that's out there dating. And so I wanted to get more straight guys on the show, but straight guys are just like not interested.
Because they're the scared. First of all, they're the ones. I'm not to say that anyone is not straight or gay or whatever, but there are a lot of people that you think are walking around and that they're interested in a certain type of person, and they're not. So that's probably why they don't want to come onto this podcast, is because they're not comfortable with their own sexuality.
Yeah, that's true. That could be.
They don't know, or like they may have done something, or there are a lot of submissive men that I've met. On dating apps. They specifically go on Bumble or whatnot to find dominant type folks. But it's like you wouldn't be able to just see that person on the average day to day. You can't point that person out. So I do feel like, in a way, it's like setting that up for people to figure out or live their truths, but it's just going to be difficult for, I think it's probably going to be another 10 to 15 years before we get the next resurgence of people coming out of the closet.
And
then because by then, like, sexual orientation is not even going to be that much of a factor, because everyone's not going to really have an identity anymore. You're going to have a preference. People are going to prefer to date what they like, but you won't be ridiculed if you looked over and said, hey, that guy's hot. Or for once I do find a male attractive, but that doesn't make you gay or whatever, you know?
Yeah, so. I have that a lot with people, like when a lot of times when people ask me, like, who's my celebrity crush, like, I have a hard time answering that. Like, I have a lot of celebrity man crushes that I'm like, oh, that guy's fucking awesome, or, like, I wish I could be like that guy. But when it's like, who's like a celebrity that you find hot? It's like all of them are hot,
right?
You know?
That's why they're celebrities, because they all look good.
Yeah, you know,
and
it's
so
like,
why wouldn't you think that their features are not pleasant?
Exactly.
And
So
desirable.
I find it like much easier to find like men that I identify with and be like, oh, like that I look up to or whatever, aspire to be, and then you just like hear like terrible shit about them. And you're like, oh fuck. Like, a couple of episodes ago, I was talking to somebody about how like I love Josh Homme, the singer of Queens of the Stone Age. I think that guy's like super cool. And that person was like, oh yeah, I heard that he like kicked a photographer in the face at a concert one time. I was like, well, god damn it. Like,
that kind of happened with like Ezra, what's his name?
Ezra. Oh, Ezra Miller.
Yeah, Ezra Miller.
The Flash.
Yeah, and he like a couple of weeks ago or whatever was beating up a fan or something, and I was like,
yeah, like bitch slap somebody.
Right, but then I was like, oh, whatever, because then J.K. Rowling came out with all this controversial stuff about cis versus non-cis women stuff. And then I feel awkward because I have Harry Potter tattoos. So then I'm like, so I'm like, I'm just going to put this whole, like, their little franchise that they have with the spinoff, I'm going to put that on holds. Because there's a lot of controversial people. The Johnny Depp's a part of that too. So I'm just going to be like, okay, y'all get y'all stuff together and figure out what we're going to do. And I'm just going to cover up this little sleeve right here.
Well, it sucks when, like, shit like that just comes out as being horrible. Like, I have, like, in my room, I have, like, a bunch of different kind of American flags. And I have, like, the Don't Tread on Me flag. And then fucking, like, Tea Party co-opted that and, like, fucking, like, white power people did. And I was like, no, fucking wait, what? I just think that's a cool looking
association,
flag.
Right. Well, I went to school in the middle of, like, nowhere in Florida, which is like Hicktown, USA. So I ended up being friends with a lot of, because I worked at the dining hall of the people that lived on campus, and a lot of the people that worked there, they weren't students, and then they weren't faculty, so it was like people that lived in the city. And you become friends with all these amazing people, and then you find out that like they're racist or like you have different beliefs, and I'm like, but you're such a fun coworker. Like, why can't you just be like chill? Like, you love me, so like, come on, boo. But you know, we live and we learn, and then I also, like I said earlier, we don't have to like take away from those experiences. I will always cherish every single laugh that I've had with the people that, you know, I'm no longer like with or whatnot, because those are still great experiences, and they still make me the cheerful person that I am right now. So
hell yeah. All right, so when you're swiping on an app, what makes you like swipe right on a person? Like, what's your...
It depends on my mood.
Okay.
If I'm in a rush, it's aesthetic. It's not necessarily if you're the hottest person, because I've been with the spectrum. I've been with what people would label as unattractive to the hottest of the hottest. But it's like presentation. Like I have people that are like posting like grainy photos, or like you can't even see them, or like my thing I cannot stand is when people post a bunch of photos of group photos. Yeah. And you can't identify who the person is. That shows that to me that you're insecure with your image, and you don't even know what I like. Yeah. I could find you attractive. You didn't even give me a chance because you're kind of like scared to show me. But if it's like one of those nights where I really feel like I want to connect spiritually with someone, I read every single profile. Okay. I will go through and see, like, do I have like astrology compatibility? Do we watch the same shows? Because that's the stuff, that's when I asked you earlier, like, what is dating? That's what I think about. I'm thinking about, like, when we're ordering Chinese on a Friday night, what movie are you going to ask me, are we going to watch? Because everyone complains about, well, the girl doesn't know what movie she wants to watch or what she wants to eat and stuff like that. Well, I can think about it ahead of time if I know that you're into comedy. So I think that these apps do set us up to be able to, you know, envision a type of future just enough to then meet the person and then see if it's actually going to be that, or if it's going to be a completely different roller coaster, but still awesome. Yeah. Who knows? But like, it's okay. But I do feel like it's important for us to try to read. So that just means that everybody has to just slow down a little bit, including myself, and not just be. Sometimes that's fun too, because I want to see who's interested in me first. Yeah. But now Bumble updated it to how Hinge does it, where Hinge you can like a specific photo,
Oh, you can do that on Bumble now.
So Bumble, it'll tell you when the person swipes, it'll show you what photo made them want to swipe for you, as opposed to just the profile, your default profile photo.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that like through Bumble Spotlight or what?
And I don't know. I just realized that like a couple days or weeks ago. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because like when I'm
it
doing
was
this
rotating between the pictures, and I was like, oh, they're trying to compete with Hinge, which I think is good, because then you know what the person likes about you. If it's a picture of me that's sexy, then you know what kind of route you're getting into. If it's something about me like more fashion or brandy or me dancing, then we know they're more into the arts or that type of stuff. If it's me hiking, then those are great indicators. So there's a responsibility on both sides for both parties to not only like give great content for you to digest, but then you also have to discern and be like for me, when I came over, I was like, do you have cats?
Yeah.
Because I've had to, and they've been the hottest guys, but I'm like, realistically speaking, if I'm deathly allergic to cats, right now is not a time where I'm ready to just like go on a medicine and get shots and stuff like that for someone I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's a great indicator that right now this might not be the time to be, for that, but who knows? Like, it might be a guy that I meet walking down the street that has a cat.
Yeah.
And I fall in love with him, but I don't know if it's going to be on Bumble because we have the choice.
Yeah. See, I remember Tinder had what was called smart photos or whatever, where they curated it for you.
You
put up like your 5 pictures or whatever, and then whatever one
that's some bullshit.
Yeah, I don't
they're
really
the
trust
ones
that.
picking. Like, that's what I was talking to you about earlier too. It's like people are in charge of curating and picking what you decide what's your best.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Even if that photo looks a hot mess, if I feel like I look bomb, I feel like that confidence also is just as big of like an indicator of like what a person is like compared to just a really hot, pretty photo.
Yeah. Every time that I've been on Tinder to like date, I always turn that smart photos bullshit off, because I'm like, I don't trust what they say is going to be like the best picture of me. Like, I trust myself more. And it's just brutal, man. It's fucking brutal. So let's say that you were talking about how like you consider dating is like when you're at home and you're watching a movie and you get takeout or whatever, you get something to eat.
I'm a homebody, yeah.
What movie would you put on? What's your go-to?
Ooh.
What would be your movie?
Well, it depends what date is it?
Let's say it's date. This is the first time they're over at your place. You're picking the movie.
I would make them watch Love, Simon.
It's Love, Simon.
Perfect. See, it's the guys that I date, I know probably have not seen that movie, but it came out in 2017, and it's about a young white boy who has like the picture perfect life. He lives in like a little Midwest town and like perfect family, but he's gay, and it's a secret. And the school that he goes to has like a community blog that people like post their secrets to or whatnot, and so he like posted it on there, and then he found someone, but then I don't want to ruin the rest of it, but it's a really good movie, and it just talks about like, it has an LGBT plotline. But I love that because growing up, I never had any content like that. And I think it's important, regardless of your sexual orientation, for people to just get used to seeing that type of content, because people need to see it. Regardless if it's you or you can relate to it. I had to grow up watching certain people on TV my whole life.
Yeah.
So we have to switch that up.
Yeah.
And then now they have a spinoff on Hulu, I believe, called Love, Victor. And it's a new boy. He's Hispanic, and he moved to Atlanta from Texas to Atlanta. And so it goes through his trials and tribulations of being a gay Hispanic teen in Atlanta. And I really like the perspective of it. So it'll be something like that, to kind of be like, hey, this is the world that you're getting yourself into, because it's like a big part of my world. And then,
What are some deal breakers that you have that you're like, oh, fuck this?
I had a guy, I don't let guys pick the movie for the most part. I give like suggestions, because I had someone pick purposely a boring movie so he could try to then hook up, because he knew that I would be bored.
What was the fucking boring ass movie?
He wanted it was like a National Geographic thing, but ironically, I love that shit, because I told you I love like animals.
He's like kissing on your neck. You're like,
yeah,
the fucking seals.
Honestly, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. And he was like getting all mad and stuff, and I'm like, well, you picked this shit, so that's on you, boo boo. You should have done more research, like I said.
Yeah.
I say that in my Bumble bio that I love history, so you shouldn't have picked, whatever, you would have known. If I said
That's so
I hate
funny.
horror, pick a horror movie or something that made me be like, I don't want to watch this, so come to my room or something like that. If that was your intent.
Okay.
I just gave something away to y'all, so don't do that. But you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of boys don't think that far, and that's a little annoying.
Yeah, I don't know. That seems so boring. I know. But it's hilarious that guy thought it was like, oh, this will be the perfect like hookup movie, and then it backfired on him so hard. They were like,
Right.
No, polar bears.
Right. Well, we did end up hooking up.
Oh, well,
and it was a disaster too, so I should have known.
What was disastrous about it?
He couldn't kiss, which is like a deal breaker for me. I feel
That's
like
insane when people don't know how to kiss.
Yeah, but I'm a patient person, so I have like sat there for 45 minutes and been like, okay, hey, we're gonna practice with
that's
people,
very kind of you.
because like, why not?
Yeah.
Like, that's all we do is we hook up, we figure out what we don't like, and we focus on that, and it's like toxic, because then every single experience you then go into, you're equating it to all of your previous experiences, but in a negative way. It's not positive. So even if the person's already there in my bed, this is going to come out into something good. So why not? You're already here. Let's see if you can learn. And then the people that learn, they turn out to be great kissers, and then the hookup can change from bad to good.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people, especially in our generation, they don't bother to even do that. But it's like, what if the person never got the chance to even kiss a lot of people? So how are they supposed to know how to kiss?
Yeah.
I learned to kiss from watching movies like Freaky Friday and like those type of Mean Girls and stuff like that. So I would imitate that and then just hope, and then I just kept hearing, oh, it's great. So then I just mimic.
Yeah.
But that's not a reason to like totally give up on someone,
That's nice of you to like take the time to teach, though.
Yeah,
like a lot of people.
yeah.
That's like such an intimate thing that I feel like people wouldn't feel comfortable being like, no, this is not how you do this.
No, I'm all about intimacy in the bedroom.
There you go.
I don't do. I mean, we all were in college, so we probably all did those quick hookups and like the drunken nights after the club and all that kind of stuff too. And those experiences were definitely fun, because sometimes you didn't know you could do certain things, or like you were able to stay up that late, or all those great things. But now that, I'm in my 30s club, and I definitely look for more, and I think that intimacy is, there are ways for you to feel certain ways, and you're not even touching someone, but you could just be like looking into their eyes and like feeling like that type of connection. That's the type of stuff that I'm looking for right now, you know? Because I already know how to pleasure myself or whatever. So if you can't do that better, then let's create something new in our own little worlds.
Yeah.
You know?
I would feel so uncomfortable doing that. Like, it's so, like,
because it's
cool.
invasive, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like...
It's getting into your soul, because that's your I am.
Yeah,
but that's, like, vulnerable for a lot of people.
Well, it's like, it's vulnerable. I would feel like a dickhead to be like, this isn't how you do this, you know? You know what I mean? Like,
fuck that. No, do you want to have a good experience or not? You're a part of it too.
Yeah, that's true. And
why do you want to be on top of someone and going and they're like a wet seal, like dead, and you're just looking into an abyss of nothing?
Yeah.
Do you want that?
No.
Okay.
But usually I'm like, if it was somebody that I really like loved and felt a super strong connection to, I would be like, hey, this is, I don't know, like...
So what would you do if it wasn't that type of person?
Oh, just fucking done. If it's not that type of person...
I think boys have it differently.
How so?
Boys can, like, you guys, because y'all do it every day, but you can either use porn or you can envision in your mind, like, your perfect paradise and simultaneously act as if that same emotion is being projected to the person that you're being intimate with. Whereas I feel like a lot of women... it's a big step for us to be a part of that.
Yeah. And
we absorb it a lot more. So I feel like it might be easier for you to, like, maybe that girl is a wet seal because she had like a very bad traumatic sex experience from like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But nobody has ever like broken that down to make her the baddest sex partner ever.
But then there's also some people that just don't. Like, there was a girl, I remember I was kissing with her, and no tongue, none at all. Just, like, a series of, like, grandma kisses. Just, like, And I was just like, what is this? Like, you're, like, in your mid-20s. Like, how do you know that this is not,
okay,
like,
so
a thing?
where did you meet her? Was it a dating app?
Tinder, yeah.
Okay. Did she give you that type of vibe where she would be more reserved?
Well, I don't know, but like I did was like, what's up? Like, you don't kiss with tongue? She's like, no, I don't like doing that. So at that certain point, it's like, oh, well, if you don't like doing that,
and you do,
and I do, then it's like, this is never going to work. Like,
well, then you need to there are a couple of apps. Have you heard of Field?
Oh, yeah, I know Field.
Okay, so if you want, that's what I did, and I think that's what helped me. I went on that for like 2 weeks, and I had some great experiences.
See, I had like almost no experiences.
Oh, no. That's the place for girls like me, because that's where everyone's like just to the point of being like, let's do this and let's try this. And I was able to just explore and figure out exactly what I like and don't like. And some people don't get that opportunity their whole life. There are people that are married and have been married for years and have the worst sex with their partners. Don't cheat, which thankfully don't do that. But they don't do that, and they just sit there like that their whole times. They don't bother to communicate. They don't bother to do that. But I feel like people on that app, they know what they want and they know what they don't want. And I love that.
See, I feel like there's a load more dudes on that app that are like just looking to have sex or hook up or whatever. So I'm in a, like, if I get on there and I'm like looking to hook up or whatever, I'm in a sea of all these other guys that are just like trying to hook up, and there's not a lot of women on there in general. Okay,
but I don't think that doesn't work for me, because you still have such an alluring presence. You still have so many identifiable factors that would make you stick out, I feel. And so I feel like it's what you put into it. You curate your profile. So if you want these people to pay attention to you in a certain type of way, make them, you know.
I mean, in my whole time ever using Field, I think I've only ever gotten like 2 matches. And
you're going to have to show me your profile. Eden's going to redo Joe's Field profile for y'all, and I'm going to come back, and then he's going to tell you had a sexual revolution, okay? And he's going to have a whole different podcast series.
It's going to be called Dating is like so easy now.
Yeah, thanks to Eden Barbarella.
Yeah, I feel like also Field is a lot more open to different orientations, and it's a very inclusive app.
Well, that was really great for me, because for once I felt like I could be. Like people were actually, it's not that they were looking for me, but they were like, okay, that's cool. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, it was the same prompts that I put on all my other dating apps and stuff like that. But the cool thing about Field is, because with the sexual stuff, you can display it or you don't have to, but you can like hashtag it, so you don't have to be like gross in your description, because you can just say your preferences. And for a literal Aquarius like myself, I categorize and compartmentalize just like that. So I had a very fluff bio, and then I said, oh, I'm into spanking or whatever, and then people knew what they were getting themselves into.
See, I always loved being on Field and learning new acronyms and like having to look up like what is
that mean? I didn't know what demisexual was for the longest.
Demisexual.
So it was like that was cool though. That's awesome, because that means that, it means that it's hidden in plain sight. There could be people, which I told you where I live, but like at like a ritzy little Whole Foods that look like they're just like the most prim and proper people. All of those people technically are probably all those subcategories that you would probably find on a Field.
Oh, absolutely.
But nobody would ever know, because it's not on like a public platform like a Facebook or anything like that. So you get to really know more of a variety of what is reality.
Yeah.
I remember I was working at a particular job, and I actually matched with someone that probably was not out or whatever, so they probably panicked when they realized it was me. But regardless, they were in that particular space because they knew they could live their secret, or they could live the way they wanted to, because it's so low key.
Yeah.
I know that's how it is. So.
Yeah, and I feel like Field doesn't have a lot of users too,
and the interface is such a hot mess.
Yeah,
so.
rough. Yeah,
such a hot mess. I really want to, like, working in tech, I'm just like, I want to send them an email and be like, please, y'all. Like, first of all, the loading, or like when they kick you out, they make you log in like with your email address and stuff, and like you have to re-verify every single time. It's like, if y'all don't catch on to 2020, at least a text verification. At least that. Yeah. Because a lot of places you don't have to re-verify every single time. But I will re-verify every time if you at least text it to me. But I have to go into Gmail and click the link just to go into an app that's already open on my phone.
Yeah. If you have to get out of the app to verify, it's like...
I didn't log out. Y'all logged me out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But Bumble, she be staying open. She definitely be running up that background battery. Okay. She loves to drain the battery.
Well, do you have a favorite app? You're like, this one I found the most
Hinge,
success.
I prefer.
Yeah, that's the one that I always...
Hinge is, you get to know, people can really curate themselves. They can tell their jokes, which is perfect for you, because I'm sure, you got some cute ones for the socials. Actually, y'all, his profile's so boring.
Well, for Bumble, for the podcast, it is,
He has such, like, just like a prim and proper, like, perfect headshot, and then he has, like, his very, like, delicate, informative bio, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, because I don't want to, like, mislead people, or like you won't believe how many people, like we were talking about earlier, that don't read the profile, and then I have to explain to them, like, no, like there was one person I had, and I posted a thing on like Instagram, just a story where it was like I posted a picture of my profile, like everything about my profile on Bumble is, hey, I'm doing a podcast. It's like the headshot of me, and the only reason it's the headshot of me is because Bumble's a fucking bitch with their like picture guidelines.
Oh my goodness, yes.
It sucks.
It doesn't make sense. There would be pictures that I had prior. Yeah. I would remove them and then try to reload the same picture, and I know it is because I organize everything into folders. And they'd be like, oh, this doesn't fit. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah. It doesn't fit your guidelines. It was my profile icon. Your one that you picked.
Yeah. Dude, they zoom in super hard on the pictures, and like they won't allow text overlays on them. So, like, when I was I got banned from Tinder for trying to do this podcast.
Because they're, like, promotion-based?
Yeah.
Because it's all AdSense now. It's all advertising.
Yeah, but this is, like, a really recent thing. Because that's where I used to get, like, all of my guests from was from Tinder. But on Tinder, I could have text on it, and it would be a picture of me, and I'd be pointing to text that says, please read my About Me. And then the About Me was all about this podcast. And then the pictures were, like, me pointing at like the microphones with my podcast.
Well, on Hinge you can put a video.
That's very true.
And with your audio, which is great, because with me, again, you can't be surprised with what you see and what you hear.
Yeah.
Again, first of all, like I have a long way to go, but my presentation, is great. So I'm not mad if you do find me attractive, but it's not your thing. But I list and I explain so very well what you're getting yourselves into.
Yeah.
Do not waste my time.
Yeah, oh yeah. People fucking waste my time so much.
Don't waste my time.
So my whole profile on Bumble is like all about the thing, because I don't want to be misleading. I want to be upfront and like quote unquote professional about it.
Well, you are very professional.
Oh, thank you.
And y'all better come be on his podcast. If y'all are listening and you have influence, it's about us helping each other out to get bigger and grow. Stop going and supporting the same comedians that you've been for 20 years when we have awesome and amazing people that could give you something refreshing and new.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Eden Barbarella.
That was a commercial.
But yeah, you won't believe how many people, like I was talking to one person, and I was, I started off with like, general small talk stuff, and then eventually I'm like, hey, just want to make sure that you like read my profile. You know what my intentions are with me being on this app. I'm trying to get people on my podcast. And somebody was like, oh, I thought that was just like a cute way for you to get to start talking to girls. I was like, no, like what fucking awful, stupid, like, is that? Like,
well,
hey,
that's because there are people that do that. Hello.
Jesus Christ, man.
So how do you meet girls?
Well, I mean, on apps, usually, like when I'm on there to date.
So you have like 2 accounts?
Yeah, usually like I'll have a Hinge account, because I don't use Hinge for this at all.
Okay.
Hinge, I think, is like the best app out there right now. Hinge is so good.
If you could get them to sponsor you, oh my God, that would be... Bumble, you guys are great too.
Well, yeah, if I could get any of these fucking things to sponsor me.
I feel like Hinge is the future. I feel like people need to be doing that. You need to be interactive. You need to be like real-time videos, because everybody can be on Facetune and making themselves look like a Kardashian. Mm-hmm. But then it doesn't match when you meet them in person. You know what I mean? So, like, there are options for, but then again, like I said, it's a two-way system. So you can also discern on the receiving end when you're reading or you're looking at someone's profile and they only have, like, one type of picture, or, like, they're not descriptive of, and you like someone that's, like, very talkative or informative, and they only put, like, one-word answers, then you cannot get mad when you're on a date, and that's how the person is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Hinge is great because it has like all those icebreaker questions, and then like it gives you a jumping off point.
Too.
Yeah, and the captions and the videos and stuff. It's like so perfect, and it gives people so many ways in to start a conversation. And that's why I think it's like the best one if you're looking to actually date. Like if you're looking to just fuck or whatever, like Field or Tinder.
Right.
Like,
don't go on Hinge to fuck. I mean, there's a couple of those guys on there, but even some of them are a little bit more like sentimental or like caring. They would at least want to have a conversation before they'd be like, hey, can I come fuck? On Bumble, people will just say that.
Yeah.
You know, the first opening line, you know, like I'll be like, hi, how are you? And be like, hey, let me come over. And I'm like...
Okay.
No. I have rules.
Yeah.
I have rules.
What are your rules?
First of all, a minimum of like a 3-day. You have to be able to maintain a conversation over 3 days for me to even like think about going out in person.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people's intent in the city is not to get to know people, it's to smash.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not that person, but there's plenty of other people in the city that love that. There's sex clubs, there's all those things. You go fuck with them, but I'm not that girl.
Yeah.
So that's an easy way because the people like that, they don't have time to sit there and be patient because they want to bone immediately.
Yeah.
When you're horny, you want to fuck. You're not thinking about, oh, I got a boner in the morning, so I'm going to wait till 10 p.m. to satisfy this, you know? So let them go find those people.
Yeah.
But for me, I think you just need a little bit more time, you know, to really see if you're compatible because it costs money for people. Nowadays, everyone's so equal opportunist. So sometimes us women, we do pay on the dates, first dates or whatever, but it costs a lot. You probably want to get your hair cut or get a new little outfit or whatever. So investing time into meeting these people based off of the social ways that we do, I really want to make sure that it's worth it.
Yeah.
And I can using this app. Like, if I say, hi, how are you? And you say, give me your number. No. We can message on here. That's what messaging on this app is for. I'm not going to have you flooding my texts, harassing me, sending me dick pics. At least on Bumble, it says preview. It'll say, like, are you sure you want to open this image? And so then at least I can make that decision. But sometimes it's not flattering waking up in the morning and just seeing a dick that you didn't expect you want to see, you know? Yeah. And then if it's not a cute dick, it's like, oh. So it's like that can ruin a girl's day.
Well, this is a bad start.
Yeah, you know, exactly. You know, and that's a selfish thing. The guy on the receiving end is like, oh, I'm so hot, I'm gonna get her. I bet you I'm gonna get her taking this picture with not even no good angles, no manscaping, no nothing. It's like, boo, you thought wrong. So yeah,
I feel like. So I always said that I would love to teach a class about how to take dick pics because I feel like I take good dick pics.
Okay, cool. What are some of your like top?
Well, it also depends on like you gotta have a body. Like, you know, you can't be like
not just the dick.
Yeah.
Okay,
you know,
cute.
I feel like you gotta have the body. You can't just show the dick because a dick out of context is like, who cares? You know. You gotta have like the whole thing.
It's very like 2007, you know, right when sexting and all that became like a thing. Because I remember when Pete Wentz from Fall Out Boy, his nudes got released. Oh my goodness!
Fucking Pete Wentz. That's a guy I haven't thought about.
I know. Well, hey, but that was an era, right? But nowadays in 2020, we got iPhones.
Yeah, there's too much information out there to be sending.
We got a full body mirror.
Dude, there's so many people that are sending flaccid dick pics out. Who do you think
Actually,
you are?
I'm not mad at those.
Flaccid dick pics?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, it probably not like a zoomed type thing, but like if you were in the shower and like, I don't need to see your dick hard to know that you're like turned on or you're just in a vibe or whatever. You could just be like just feeling yourself or feeling confident about how you looked right then. You don't need to be hard for that to be expressive. So sometimes that might be like, you know, a guy's being like, oh, like, you know, his abs might be looking right that day or his V might be looking right. And it just so happens, you know, the dick's in there.
See, if I'm flaccid and I want to send something like that, I usually cut it right off right before.
Oh, no, see, that's dumb. No, just show the whole thing.
No,
we're going to see it anyway. What is this thing with guys not wanting us to see, like, their dicks flaccid?
No. I'm saying, like, you know, I don't want to see it. You don't want to... That'd be like, you know... showing up to a first date not dressed up, like not looking cute. You know,
Okay,
you want to have
in my world.
You want to have the fucking.
Put it in my world. Okay.
You want to put your best foot forward or best dick forward, and I feel like the flaccid dick is not the best.
See, I believe in appetizers. Like me, even I don't even like dick pics. I prefer like underwear pics.
Yes, that's exactly what I was gonna say. This is the go-to is the underwear shot where you can see the dick through the underwear, like the hard dick in underwear.
Oh my god!
Like the shadow.
That's a little extreme, but like I would say, like a semi, or like like a little nice little, like a little something, but nothing like provoking.
Yeah,
is more for me because it's like, oh, I have something to explore. But then sometimes, like when I just see the whole thing, I'm like, okay, well, what's left? Because a lot of those times. A lot of these guys who do have certain types of dicks, and societies have told them, oh, because you have a big dick or a thick dick or this type of dick that you are God, they don't know how to work it in the bedroom, and then it makes the experience a hot mess.
Yeah.
And on the contrary, I've been with guys that do have smaller penises, for instance, and have been so not confident with themselves. And when I've been patient with them, they've been able to kind of transform and really like put it down, you know.
Yeah.
But some people don't give them a chance, and then you go and look at every single comedy movie or whatever, and people are reinforcing these stereotypes about certain types of people or whatnot. So it's just interesting. But yeah,
I think
I prefer underwear.
The underwear shot is because it also like piques the interest. It gets people to be like, well, I wonder what it looks like underneath there. That's like the go-to. Like,
but you could still tease with that too, you know. It doesn't even have to. That could be. I've done that for like months, where it's just been only underwear stuff.
Yeah, dude.
And then.
But then once you see it, then you get it in person.
Right. Then it's like a surprise.
Once it's been exposed and everybody knows what you're playing with, then you can move on. I feel like to nudity. Is that fair? Is that a good?
I think permission still sounds cute. Like I
obviously
think
you don't
no, but like tastefully, like, hey babe, like I just bought some new underwear, and then like you're like holding them down so I can like I'm like, okay babe, take them off or something like that. But it's like cute. That's just the kind of girl that I am. But I feel like some guys are just super lazy. They just like, I want to fuck or I want to come, or it's just like, but it's a two-way street. It
always boggles my mind, like the lack of suave when guys
they don't
are
care
just
anymore.
Like, yeah, you
it's
gotta have
totally out of the window.
You gotta have some suave, baby.
So give me your best pickup lines.
Oh no, I don't have pickup lines. I don't do that. I don't fucking. I'm terrible in person. Like if I'm going to like go talk to a woman in person,
what do you say?
I don't say anything. I don't go up to people in person because I've read so many articles that were like, I'm not at the bar to meet guys. I'm not at the gym to meet guys. I'm not at X to meet guys. So I'm like, you're not anywhere to meet guys, so I'm not going to meet you.
Are you going out to meet girls?
Through apps. That's what I feel like is the safest.
Okay. So that's your regimen. Because I do feel like a lot of guys say exactly what you say, but then they still go to those same places expecting a different result.
No.
Like, well, then, sweetie, then try something new.
Yeah, no, I don't do that. The app to me is like the safest way of like, hey, I'm single, hey, I'm looking, and then you have to match with that person to start talking with them. So it's like that's a flag that like, hey, I'm interested. So that's when it's like, okay, well, we were starting from a place of like we're mutual interest and like we can talk about stuff. But just going up cold to somebody and being like, hey, what's your sign, baby? Like, no fucking way. I would never do that.
Honestly, I'm waiting for someone to do that. I would think it's so hot. Be like, you tried.
Well, that's the thing is like a lot of people would enjoy that. Like they're like, I have a joke.
I'm so tired of people just staring at me like from across the room, especially someone like me, because a stare could mean multiple things. A stare could mean I want to kill you. I don't know if you guys know, but there's tons of black trans women that are dying every single day that the media doesn't want to report about. So that's scary for me.
Yeah.
But that could also, that same look could be, babe, you're the hottest thing I've ever seen. You know, so I need y'all to speak up. Say what you want.
I had a joke in my act about it, about how like I was talking to somebody about being on the apps, and they're like, oh, guys are always on these fucking apps. How come there's no guys out there like trying to meet women in real life anymore? I was like, because meeting women in real life is illegal.
Yeah, that is. We can all say, oh, he did that, and y'all in jail.
Yeah, I don't want to. Well, I don't want to make somebody uncomfortable to put them in a position of like rejecting me as well, because that's like, I know that that's awkward as fuck. And if you're just like out to have a good time and now you have to like make a guy's night bad. Like that would be putting someone in an awkward position.
But that's the same thing that would happen on Bumble if he went on a date and it was bad.
Yeah, but at least there was
more hype.
At least there was that like initial interest in it. You knew that they were there and they were looking, you know?
True.
If you just like cold walk up to somebody that is unsuspecting, fuck that. I never would do that anymore.
I've done it a couple of times and I will say it's been the scariest moments ever. But some of them have been so rewarding, and I will never forget them. And I think I'm on this planet to have more memories like that than to just go through an everyday vibe. So I would encourage you, like, for every 20 swipes, like, put a list of, like, a coffee shop or something. And maybe you don't even have to, like, walk up to the people, but at least smile or, like, do something like that. Because you might, you know...
Okay, I'll put this on you. How would you like to be approached? What would you want? I always love an initial compliment. So if you're interested, that's a way to register that I know. Okay.
I don't like especially at clubs, people like to just grab a lot and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Please ask, if you want to dance. Like, I can twerk, I can drop it down low, and I'm gonna give you what you need. We were talking about chubs earlier. I know how to make them happen in 0 to 60 seconds. Okay, so we can have that opportunity, but again, hello, how are you? You know what I mean? Oh, you're very beautiful. Thank you so much. What's your name? These little things that sometimes they're thought about as very cheesy or traditional, I think are a very common courtesy that everybody should have for any type of engagement, whether it's like relationship based or platonic, whatever. We need to get back into those methods. So yeah, just simply pulling up and like smiling. Stop being scared. Even if I don't like you, I'm one of 4 million women in this world that could. But now you're getting your swag. I'm figuring out like how you want to do it, So, and I'm not the type of person, I'm not like these, because that's another thing. A lot of these dudes encounter a lot of tricks, I'll call them, that are very rude to men, They get out of my face, and like they do this thing because they want to feel like they're big and bad because they can reject somebody. Even if I'm like not interested, we're still gonna be friends. We're still gonna figure out a way to connect or do something because God put me in your life for a reason. You showed up, you pulled up onto that dance floor for a reason, unless you're a creep. But you know what I mean? So I'm not the type of person to just write people off. I'll politely say like I'm not interested in it, and if that's their decision. If they're like, well, fuck it, I don't like you or whatever, then they can run off. If they still want to be like, okay, that's cool. Can I still hang with you? Hang with me and my crew. Yeah. Let's do it. And that's how I've met all my friends in LA.
See, I always heard that it's better to like compliment a piece of clothing that a person's wearing. Like, oh my God, I love those shoes, because it shows
I do get that a lot.
Like you picked that. It's not something that's physical about you that you can't, like, oh my God, you're beautiful. It's like, that's a great one as well. I would accept that because I do put a lot of time into my outfits. Okay.
Yeah.
See, people like,
so that is a great way. That is a great derivative.
Yeah. So. That's what I don't know. I don't know. But again, like I don't.
What are your favorite features on women? Like, I know you're looking at outfits or whatever, but are you looking at ass? Are you looking at smiles? Are you looking at
just all over the place? Just all kinds of babes. There's so many fucking hot chicks.
That's a mood.
One of my big things is like if you got good style, like I'm cool with that. Like I love that. Like I love like cool looking people that have like good fashion. If you got whack fashion, I can't.
Especially in LA. At first I used to feel bad for like wanting to be on that like commercial side, but I feel like if you can grasp your identity in LA, you can go anywhere in this world and people will kind of understand who you are as a person, because fashion and like self-identity are so intertwined here. And there are a lot of people that you can tell that their lives are kind of a hot mess or like disoriented just based off of their appearance. There's a literal correlation between the two. But then when I go to Florida, for instance, it's like everybody there is just wearing a t-shirt and shorts because it's like hot or whatever. Like, it's for comfort. Nobody cares about like having the best wig or the best like high heels or whatever. They're like trying to dress just to go to Walgreens without having to sweat out everything. So
okay, so do you have any like ridiculous date stories that were just like, what the fuck
happened? How I found out about Field was I was on a Bumble date, and the whole time my date talked about how bad all of his dates were for 2 hours.
That's why I started doing this podcast.
Every single second was about blah, 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 blah. And then at the very end asked me, well, do you have any advice and stuff for me? And I'm like...
I thought that we were doing it.
But he also wanted to then engage in a hookup. So it's like... What? What? That's all I could say. Like,
will you
what?
help me hook up with other girls, but also
like, give me what am I doing wrong? Should I do this? Or one time I went on this date and then this person said this was about me and blah blah blah. And it's like, I guess they just need it again. And maybe it's because maybe people feel comfortable with me because I do listen. I do love to talk to people about whatever. I can talk about anything and everything with anyone. So maybe they feel that, and that's why they just kind of like do all that. But it's like, no, yeah. That's not okay.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, that's fucking wild to be like, yeah, I know that we're doing this thing right now, but can you help me?
Yeah. And I got, again, getting dolled up. Again, don't waste my time.
Yeah.
You should be getting to know me, first of all, or we should be getting to know each other back and forth, kind of how we're doing this podcast. It shouldn't, it was like a presentation. Like, he was talking literally about 7 different dates, and each person or whatever, he asked me like maybe 2 or 3 questions out of the 2 hours, and the majority of the time I was just sipping my cappuccino at Aroma, which is one of my favorite places in LA. If you've never been, you should go. Shout out to
Aroma.
them. Yeah. Well, I know you love coffee, so they got great coffee. This could be a sponsorship. I'm speaking stuff into existence. Now watch, when he has a deal with them guys, you know that Eden was on here. And I use my witch powers to make it happen.
I gotta give you 15% or whatever.
Oh, you giving a lot. I like you. See, I could tell you was from the East Coast.
Hell yeah.
Because that's the LA way. They be doing 5%, 3%.
Yeah. I don't know percentages, but
okay,
cool.
fucking,
you'll get
15 is a really nice, generous amount.
Well, there you go. You help me out. Fucking you scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Oh my God. That was like Kris Jenner used to manage a girl group called BG5.
Oh, really?
And they had a song called Scratch. And that was the hook. If you scratch your back, you need to scratch mine. I'm like, I never understood what that meant. That wasn't a very common phrase in Black culture. But then when I moved to LA, and once it was on that show, I've been hearing everyone say that often. But it's true.
Yeah. So
give and take.
I knew it from a game called Lego Island.
Come on, Lego Island.
Fuck yeah.
Have you been to Legoland?
No, it's for children.
We're all kids.
No, look, I love Disneyland. Like, I fucking love Disneyland.
I'm a Universal girl.
Oh.
I like thrill. I'm
cool,
sorry.
That's been the end of this podcast.
I do go to Disney. I mean, I'm from Florida, so it was like, that's why I'm like desensitized to it. I went every weekend, every other weekend, every Frill trip.
World is great, though. World is like so much better.
And then we're out here, I'm like, nothing, even the Universal out here doesn't even compare to what I have back home. So I'm just like, y'all out here in fairy tale land thinking you're having a good Disney experience. You need to be saving up because they're already charging y'all an arm and a leg. You shouldn't be having to pay that much to go to that damn theme park in the first place. I need to stop because I know Disney's listening. But it's true. Y'all need to, all these people love Disney. Yeah. It's like some people's heart and soul. They're price gouging y'all, and they know that.
Yeah,
like, y'all need to at least have a raffle or something where, like, we can get a deal. You know? Because it's like, not everybody has their paycheck to go spend on a damn ticket to go to your theme park. When you keep raising it up $100 every year.
Yeah, that was... They raised the prices like $50 or $100 this year, and I was like, fuck.
And then all these hot mess businesses, I know I was going off topic, but then they're doing all these automatic payments or like these duplicate payments. I have a friend that works for Universal in Orlando. No, she works for Disney. And they charge her for her season pass, even though they were closed during COVID.
Oh, fuck that shit, dude. That's bullshit.
And they're talking about, oh, it was a system error. Girl, that was not no system error. You knew that you were doing those transactions, and you know that some people will not check. And y'all just got just this extra little cushion room of money to do what you had to do. Stop trying to take away from people that already don't have a lot. You are Disney, girl. You are set. Everybody knows what Disney is and will always know what Disney is. Like, Disney, we need to be working on the next theme park or the next big movie franchise thing, you know? So stop trying to take advantage of us. Let us... If they gave us money to spend, if they gave us opportunities to actually go, we would give them more ideas for them to create more content for us. But you're making it real hard to go. When you're charging $700.
Yeah, give us a free turkey leg.
Exactly. Not no, $15 damn $10 for a churro, girl. I can go to Ralph's and get me a little box and put it in my air fryer for $8.99. Okay.
Okay, back on topic here. What's the best first date you've ever been on? Any that like particularly pop to your head?
I've been on so many different dates, y'all. I've been to like fancy restaurants. I've been taken on like car rides on Malibu, like down PCH, like all those like cheesy movie things. But I definitely will say, I always love when I can just go to a chill atmosphere, like a bar or whatever, and then the conversation like lasts for hours, and we were like, people are trying to kick us out.
Yeah.
That's when I'm like, hell yeah, I'm coming home with you, because I got here at 5:00 at night.
Yeah.
And we were here for
it's
7
11
hours. Yeah. It was like, we were just kicking. We didn't even know. We got lost in that moment because we were just enjoying each other's company. I can trust you. I don't do that often, but it was like, I would be in more of that situation when, if someone were to invite me over for drinks or something. Mm-hmm. I have had that in my best experience dating started out that night. I remember I was freaking out. I called my best friend. My makeup was a hot mess. I was like, girl, I can't do this. He's too cute, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, girl, you got this. And I went to Tequila, which we were just by earlier. And not Tequila, El Tejano. And it was just like the best night ever. It was just great conversation, just getting to like the world didn't. Carrie Hilson has a song called I Like, and she talks about the world was turning around the people, but we didn't even know. Yeah. Because we were just like there.
It's kind of like those like time-lapse videos where it's just like you're in the moment, but like everything around you
the
is
Spice
time-lapse.
Girls, they actually have a video called Two Become One. I have the tattoo.
Oh shit, just pulling out the
lyrics.
Tattoo.
Yeah, right here.
There you go.
So it says, set your spirit free is the only way to be. But that's part of the concept of the video, is that they were saying like when you're with that person, that's eternal. Mm-hmm. That time doesn't even exist, because it's a now, it's a future, it's the past, it's everything. Yeah. So when you can connect with that person and align, cherish that, like go with it. Don't look at your phone and be like, oh, so-and-so's texting me or blah, 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 because that's just a distraction from you actually aligning with a potential like really great path that could really change your life for the better.
Anytime I've been on a date, I always put my phone on like airplane mode or silent, because like I have such a compulsion to look at my phone. Like I feel like I'm like not missing out, but like I feel like I'm neglecting a person that's trying to reach out to me. So if I don't feel that at all, I feel like I can be more in the present in the moment and like pay attention to everything. So I suggest that to everybody. Like, don't fucking be on your fucking phone when you're on a
That's
date.
Another dating rule. Yeah, that's a no-no.
Yeah.
I understand if it's like, or like communicate. Just tell the person, hey, like, just so you know, like this past week, I'm privileged to be employed, and my company has been doing really well. So if we were doing this right now, but we had all the craziness that was going on, I could just simply tell you, hey, Joe, I know we're about to record a podcast, but I might need to keep my phone on a certain setting because of this. Mm-hmm. But some people don't do that. They're just jittery and they're just picking stuff up, and it shows the person that you're with that you're disinterested. Yeah. And if I'm not whole with myself, that's going to poke at all my insecurities, and it's just going to transform this whole experience into... Yeah. So it's like a two-way street. You got to know yourself, but then the people that you're with, it has to be... If you're wasting my time, then just tell me to go home, whatever. Like, I wish more employers did that. Like, in food service, like, people sometimes don't feel well, or they're really not having a good day, and they force them to stay there for, like, 12 hours. Send them home. Yeah. You know, and I know those people probably don't want to leave because they need that money, but that just goes to show you that our system is not set up the right way in the first place. But still, we should be creating ways for them to have that mental off day and not affect the rest, because sometimes you just need a chance to just think about it. Prior to COVID, I'm pretty sure you were running all over LA. You were probably doing gigs. You were doing this. You were at work. You were da-da-da-da. Yeah. You know, nonstop. We were on autopilot. I was on autopilot for 7 fucking years.
Yeah, now we got a chance to to breathe, and now I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. You're like,
Wait
let
a
me
minute.
go.
Oh,
Let me
God,
go.
let me do something. Let me be back on fucking autopilot for a second. I gotta sit here with my thoughts.
Right? But yeah, I do love conversation. I will say that. Like, you could have the best cologne, you could have the best outfit, you could do all that or whatever. But the whole point of all of this, when it's said and done, is like, you still have to be sharing space with someone, even if it's intimacy, even if it's your smashing or whatever. Like, you're still looking at that person or whatever. I would love to know that I'm like connected with that person, even if it's only for that 45 minutes or even if it's for a lifetime. Whatever our chapter says, we have to be communicating to make sure that that's compatible. Mm-hmm. Or if it's not, it's totally okay because there's other people. That's the game. Yeah. It's just figuring it out. But it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean this, and this, and that. Because I had a lot of self-esteem issues. I always thought that it equated to my image or like my personality or whatever, to the point where I just stopped dating for a while. And then I realized that it had nothing to do with me a lot of the times. It had to do with the people I was engaging with, which ironically is a direct reflection of me, because I was also insecure. Mm-hmm. So you're going to attract those type of people. But when you're confident, you will attract more confident type of people. And it should, as soon as I just start going out there and doing my thing, I did. So
there you fucking go.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to ask you the last two questions I ask every guest. Number one is, who is a celebrity that you think would be in your league if they weren't a celebrity?
Nick Jonas.
Nick Jonas. Dude, the Jonas Brothers fucking rip.
Yeah.
All right, Nick Jonas. Well, that was Nick really Jonas. Simple. And
yeah.
fucking
he was I was going to say Joe, so that's what I was teeter-totter. That was my silence.
Okay.
Because I actually met Joe Jonas, and he's we talked about celebrities being nice and stuff earlier, but he was one of the nicest people I met. So,
are they still like Christian?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because I remember that was like the big
But they're all married. All three of them are married.
Okay.
So...
Yeah, because when Joe was the one that was in DNCE, right?
Yes.
When they started making that music, I was like,
bro,
this
Kicked by the Ocean is literally about sex by the beach or sex on the beach. That's what the theme is about.
These guys are not virgins anymore.
No, well, he actually in like 2010 or 11 was like addicted to sex and drugs.
Oh, shit.
So it's like that whole era was not a great era for all those Disney stars and stuff. Like, they had all those shows, and then behind the scenes they're all like... You know, but then again, this is prior. We had social media. We had like Facebook and MySpace and stuff, but we didn't have it like Twitter, where you could do like real-time updates. And you could, I guess, but no one just did it. It wasn't the flow of how we did things. So, but yeah, they're more like wholesome and stuff now, and they're around our age as well, which I think is great. I would love to find someone that's at least understands my bracket. I feel like with a lot of older men, they think of women as possessions. They don't think of us as equal, and that's not gonna work. Yeah. And then I do feel like I've tried to date like a couple of like 22-year-old Gen Zers, and they just are very different.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, they're almost too free for me. Like, there's almost no structure. It's like that's what I feel. So. Yeah.
I remember seeing the music video for Body Moves by DNCE, and I was like, whoa, this is sexy as hell. Yeah. Dude. Like that song fucking rules.
Yeah.
Dude.
And I love their appeal because they're very flashy. Yeah. That's why the Jonas Brothers got back together, and I said that I miss DNCE because they had the like crazy
like the Asian,
colors.
Like they had lady, and she
right.
was badass.
Right. They had the guy with the hair, and their clothes were always like flashy. The music was edgy, it was funky, but it still gave you pop. Yeah. Lyrically great songs. Like, it was a really great concept. So I'm glad that they had great healing as brothers, but sometimes I do feel like we shouldn't end certain things if they're really good, you know, because they were onto something. They spoke for someone like me for a while. I talked about representation earlier. I had a couple of people to reference, but it's like RuPaul.
Yeah.
Like that's you know, but finally we have shows like Pose on FX that like is literally about the ballroom culture in New York in the 1980s and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's on like a cable television channel. What? Like, yeah. Finally. So 20 years from now, again, kids will be so normalized to these things that even if it's not what they prefer, at least they know about it. Yeah. Think about those random people in like Kentucky and, you know, Milwaukee or wherever that have never even seen a black person. Yeah. All they've seen is them on MTV. You know?
Yeah. Okay. So, last question before we wrap this bad boy up. What's one piece of advice that you'd give everybody listening about dating?
You have to be yourself, 100% authentic. Do not go into something trying to morph yourself or like trying to like change your bio or like the way you phrase words or whatever to try to like fit what you think people will like, because then when you get stuck with them and you can't be yourself, that's like prison.
Yeah, and you're constantly pretending.
Yeah, you're trying to like play a role.
Oh yeah, I love zucchini.
Yeah, like the people I know, exactly. Stop saying you like certain foods. Stop saying like you like coffee. I used to do that.
Yeah.
I love coffee.
Yeah.
And then I'd be drinking these coffees and like my stomach is killing me. And I'm like, I can just tell people I don't like, which I did. Yeah. You know, I don't really care for coffee. And that's okay that you don't like coffee. No one said that well, people did in these movies and stuff. They've stigmatized like that's the thing you have to do. Is go get coffee. But even though a lot of people do like to do that, and one of my best friends works at Starbucks, there are some of us that, you know, we prefer a little milkshake or, you know, a smoothie or a protein shake or something like that. So an alternative. Jamba Juice. Yeah. I like Cold Stone milkshake. So I'll drink. The Cold Stone opens at 10 a.m. So I'll roll up there.
That's got to be thick as hell.
Yeah.
Cold Stone ice cream is thick.
Yeah. That shit is probably like 5,000 calories. It's one sip.
Yeah, dude.
How you think I got this booty? Okay. It's not by doing squats.
Cold Stone's thick with 4 C's. Baby.
Yeah. But yeah, be authentic, y'all. Just be yourselves, and you know, be respectful as well. You know, because it's people that might encounter me and they'd be like, "Wow, she's beautiful," and then they might find out something that they're not used to, and just be respectful that it's a new occurrence for everybody. Yeah. You know, but I'm not going anywhere.
There you go.
So.
All right, Eden, do you want to plug anything else that you got going on?
We already talked about Dirty Talk. It's available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so please just search Dirty Talk, or you go to, it's capitalized all caps, and it'll pop up. We actually have a playlist as well for music. So if you're into music, you can listen to the playlist, but if you want to hear us talk about sex, we talk about lots of sex and positions and relationships and exes and lots of stuff like that. So go look that up on Instagram. That's also Dirty Talk Showtime. So that's us on Instagram. My personal Instagram is Eden Barbarella. So Barbarella like Jane Fonda / Duran Duran.
Silver swimsuit.
Yeah, see, you get it. You know, she's a classic. And then Eden like the Garden of Eden. So yeah, those are pretty much like, you know, the 2 major things that I want people to kind of gravitate towards.
Hell yeah. Well, Eden, thank you so much for doing the show.
Thank you for having me.
And there you have it, everybody. That was my chat with Eden Barbarella. I hope you enjoyed it. I know that I did. Everybody go check out her podcast, Dirty Talk. It's awesome. Give that shit 5-star reviews as well as mine, you know. Like I said at the beginning, you know, I'm at 90 5-star reviews as of this recording. Please, let's try and get it to 100. That's what I'm going for, baby. Get it to 100. Anyway, everything you need to know about the show, you can go to datingishardcomedy.com, follow the Instagram at datingishardcomedy, and follow me on Instagram at Joe Welkie. That's where I post updates about the show and all that jazz. And yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the show. I'm really enjoying getting to do it again. And yeah, until next time, later!